Good evening and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Mephisto, as always with me, my hetero life mate. Oh, my feelings. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, buddy.
What is the Reel McCoy? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie, you watch it, come back to us, and then we break it down, geek on it, and do the worst to it and misrepresent it. And I'm sorry, my wife literally, as I was starting my spiel, she gave me a coffee from the illicit machine that put me down this week for the count for about a day and a half.
Again, the
Long
Meth,
story.
another flawless intro. Just
Flawless intro. All right,
chef's
cool.
kiss.
If we're going for flawless intro, let's go with the lower thirds. If you want to follow and contribute to the show, just add me on Twitter at Mephisto or on Instagram at Mephisto79. You can always email the show at the Reel McCoy podcast at the gmail.com. We are waiting for our special guest that is supposed to be here. He's busy, so we'll give him time. So as soon as he pops in, we will, of course, welcome him. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge. Let's see. All right. He'll be here when he'll be here.
Okay.
So this week, we are talking all about Baseketball, not basketball, Baseketball, directed by David Zucker, point of reference, and starring Trey Parker and Matt Stone, because we're doing the Trey Parker and Matt Stone August Appreciation Month. Mm-hmm. So, how many times have you watched this film, and did you love it? Or did you hate it?
Overall, or just this week?
Just this week, last week, because I haven't seen it this week.
Just this week twice. Twice. Because I told you, it was easier for me to buy it on Amazon for $2 than it was to rent it anywhere. And it wasn't on Hulu. It wasn't on HBO. It wasn't on Vudu. It wasn't on anything. It wasn't on Tubi. It wasn't on anything.
Because last week we kind of said, well, go out and just get it. And
this one was going to be a little bit harder to find. You know why? Because half this movie is good and half this movie is a piece of shit.
Oh, I know you didn't. I haven't revealed if I liked it or didn't like it backstage because I enjoyed your reaction to it. I did not like this movie whatsoever.
Yeah. See, once we get to the behind the screen segment, you're going to go, oh, okay. It makes a lot of sense. I enjoyed half this movie, and I hated half of it.
I mean, whoever casted Yasmin Bleeth should definitely shoot himself in the face. I
Jenna,
mean,
yeah.
Maybe no. Jenny McCarthy did her Jenny McCarthy things.
The thing. Especially the late 90s Jenny McCarthy, where she was just getting started, it made perfect sense. Because she actually had the Jenny show at this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Since we're talking about all the backstage stuff, all the behind the scenes stuff, we have a segment for that. It's called Behind the Screens.
Production take 2.
All the stingers tonight is going to drive me up the wall because I haven't even cashed them in. Never mind. All right. Whoa. Before we start, actually, good point. Let us introduce Tom from Midnight's Edge. Good evening, Tom.
Good afternoon, Mephisto and All My Feelings.
Yes.
Nice to meet you guys.
Mephisto and All My Feelings.
Nice to meet
you. We haven't had time to talk to you backstage, so let's make the introductions here. Hi, I'm Mephisto. I live in Israel. I do stuff, and also this podcast, All My Feelings, is from the US, and is a very busy man. So I control this while he does the thing I hate the most, which is the research about behind whatever the movie this is, this is our segment. Let's introduce Tom, shall we? Mm-hmm. Tom is in charge of 7 different channels, sort of like Jeremy, right? From Geeks and Gamers.
I don't know if I'd say I'm in charge. I'm actually Andre's in charge. Mostly. But yeah, we got Midnight's Edge After Dark, Midnight's Edge Espanol, and then I have kind of a side channel called Mead Radio and some other things like that. But yeah, that's the basics of it. But yeah, I guess you could call me the I kind of like run the day-to-day kind of things and wrangle the cats, as we like to call it.
A co-contributor. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so because we just missed it, let's have our stinger again. Everything behind the scenes, we call it behind the screens.
Production take 2.
In this segment, we go to Oh My Feelings, and we get the lowdown on behind the screens. Show us your notes for this week. Extensive? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's start. Let's do this.
Yes. So, it's clearly, this is written by David Zucker, which is funny because in the title card, it actually has the Universal logo when it plays around, a game by David Zucker, because Baseketball was actually based on a game that he would play with his friends.
No.
Yes. And many of the recurring characters from the different teams were people that he played the games with as a child.
Okay.
They were his old friends. So like the people from like the Dallas Felons, from the Miami team, from the Detroit team, even the San Francisco Fairies. One of them was one of his good friends.
Okay.
Yes, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
This film is not at what we call PC friendly anymore.
Hey, it's Parker and Stone. How would it be?
I say that actually kind of makes sense considering I think he grew up around Milwaukee, so they have the Milwaukee beers.
Yep,
but it was funny because it almost feels like something like this. Almost feels like something Trey and Matt would have wrote, actually, which is kind of ironic.
This is Tom. I'm glad you brought that point up. It was originally written by David Zucker, but they brought in Masson and Trey Parker. When they brought them in, Masson and Trey Parker wanted to do rewrites. They were high off the first season of South Park, so they gave them the rights to do rewrites. The entire character of Kenny, Squeak, Little Bit Scolari, did not exist in the film beforehand.
That's because it's their goddamn friend.
They wrote the character in, and many of the jokes that you're going to really enjoy in the film, they were written by Matt Stone and Trey Parker. A lot of the old punny, very forced jokes that were very Airplane-esque were Zucker's writing, because Zucker wrote Airplane.
Yeah. And many other stuff that you absolutely detest. And I absolutely love.
Oh, boy.
Keep going.
That's understandable.
We were talking earlier, Tom, where I was like, I love half the movie and I hate half the movie.
Okay, it's fine. I don't like the movie at all. I enjoyed the ride, but go on.
But funny, you mentioned Masson and Trey Parker. They signed on because at the time they thought South Park was going to be canceled.
Really?
Yeah.
After the first season?
Yeah. Oh, they were certain that it was going to be canceled because at the time it garnered so much controversy. If you can remember back then, I think Tom, you might be a little more keyed into this because we're both on the state side. It was a big deal when a new episode of South Park came out after the first few episodes because it was always supposed to be they were pushing the boundaries.
It was. It kind of picked up where Beavis and Butthead left off.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know how in the world they would have thought that, a little cable channel like Comedy Central, which had nothing.
Oh yeah.
At the time, was going to dump their most popular show because no news, like even though it's controversy, that's still that feeds into the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did regret later on doing this and the South Park movie practically back to back because they felt like it did cause the show to suffer in the writing. And they wish they could just basically erase the first 3 seasons. But yeah,
very, very true. Because they were on set during the day, and then at night they were doing production meetings for South Park.
Yep.
Just over and over, and the cycle would repeat itself over and over and over again. It's really funny how later on in the film, it is Coop calls Reamer a sellout, right?
Yeah.
And about how he says, well, this is my acting agent. He's going to get me a big Hollywood role. He said, oh, well, you're a sellout and you're going to go make a big Hollywood movie. that was in direct reflection to what everyone was calling them at the time, who were South Park fans. Oh, you made it big. You're sellouts now.
Having to literally forget that they did Orgasmo the year prior to South Park,
that.
While
and they did Cannibal the Musical several years before that too. Yeah.
So,
what's a funny little side note is the term derp came from this movie.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Matt Stone says it. The scene where he is leaving Brittany's mom's room, where he walks away. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to it. But as he walks away, he goes,
"I have questions."
He goes, derp, and that's where it came from. Then they utilized the phrase derp in the second season of South Park when it was Mr. Garrison was on a leave, and they had a character teacher come in, and then he called himself Mr. Derp.
Yeah, Mr. Derp.
Yeah. Prior to Matt Stone and Trey Parker being cast in the film, Chris Farley originally was written to play Joe Cooper.
Interesting.
I see it.
David Zucker wanted Chris Farley desperately to play Joe Cooper.
When did Farley die, though? This is 98.
I was going to say, I think it was right before that because Farley died in 97.
97, all right. Yeah.
Because Tommy Boy came out. Because it was 90. Tommy Boy came out in 96. Then Black Sheep came out in 97. But he was going to be working on another project.
Actually, I think
David
Tommy Boy came out in 95 here, if I'm not mistaken.
95?
Okay.
Yeah, he died December 18th, 97. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was 97, because I remember that day pretty well. Yeah.
But he had
a
turned
big deal here in Wisconsin, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could see that.
Yeah, it was a big deal here when that happened, yeah.
Yeah. But so he turned down the role because he was actually going to be he was going to take over the role for John Candy, who had previously just died recently, and Wagons East.
That also makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, in a little film called Confederacy of Dunces, which I told you, Meph, is one of the most cursed films ever, and they'll never make it.
Yeah, they still haven't made it, right?
No.
That's like that Nanook movie or whatever the heck it is, right? Like,
yep.
Okay.
The one John Belushi was attached to, and then Chris Farley was attached to.
Yeah. All my feelings kind of off stream. We had a discussion about it like after one of the podcasts, and it was like, you don't understand. I brought it up on the podcast, but you don't really understand how far and deep this goes, where everybody who was attached to that movie is kind of like, no, it's just like, this guy died, this guy fucking drugs, all that fucking stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Anything else, or we shall dive right in?
There's a lot more. The first scene with Yasmin Bleeth that they shot was actually the nude scene in the locker room, and Matt Stone and Trey Parker were actually both naked.
You could tell, and I tell you why. When they had not a full close up, but a body close up of Matt Stone, you can tell he was not wearing the naked underwear thing that they usually do.
Yeah,
and that's okay. I get it. They're like balls out.
And Matt Stone and Trey Parker said that they wanted to do that just to introduce her to how weird this film was going to get.
I mean, it's coked up Yasmin Bleeth at the time.
Yeah.
So,
the channel WCGV, which Tom, you might know this, is actually an affiliate channel. It was of UPN at the time in Milwaukee.
I'm not 100% if that was that their actual call letters at the time. That could have been.
It was.
Sounds about right. Yeah. See, I'm not too familiar with all the Milwaukee channels, but yeah, like more Madison channels I would know. But no, I always thought it was kind of funny that, and I think I knew something like that. Yeah.
So a Badger, huh?
Yeah.
Hey! Don't leave me out here.
The kid from Israel doesn't know what's going on, Tom. It's okay.
I'm not familiar. I know the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers, I know. No, I'm joking. Go on.
But the
Close
song
enough,
Coop,
though.
yeah, the song that Coop is listening to was written and performed by DVDA.
DVDA, yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I had to explain in the car today what is DVDA to my wife. She gave me
God.
the face.
Oh, I figured.
And I was like, what? It's like,
hey, they got it in a movie. I mean,
you are a dumb motherfucker.
You gotta remember, when these guys became famous, like, there was never anything that bad on television. Like, you can watch Adult Swim now and even regular cartoons for the most part, and they're almost as raunchy and racy as some of that early South Park and Beavis and Butthead stuff. And it's like, you kids just don't get it. When Simpson said, "I'm Bart Simpson, who the hell are you?" Our mouths hit the floor.
Big deal. Yeah.
We were like, that kid just swore. Not only was it a kid, it was a cartoon kid.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
I was a young lad back in the 1990 or 1980. When did Simpsons came out? There was the Tracy Ullman show.
Technically, yeah, like 86. It was on Tracy Ullman show, yeah.
And it came out as a little snippet, and then the show itself came out in early 1990.
I think it was 89.
And the weird part
they had the Christmas episode in 89, but the show started in March of 90.
So we actually had, and it was like, because it was such a phenomenon worldwide, we had it on the only national channel back then, because we didn't actually have cable till a year later. Simpsons came out like 2 weeks after it aired in the US, and that was a big thing. But let's get Trey Parker, Matt Stone.
Okay. One last little fun bit is in the first scene, which we can go right into the movie after this.
Yeah, go.
It is that Matt Stone is actually sitting like right next to his younger version of himself during the 1977 callback scene.
The Reggie Jackson scene.
Yeah.
Let me just. It's really hard to find the exact point, Yeah. There. We'll call it there. Like I said, it's really hard to get the exact moment, but yeah, it's literally this guy's supposed to be the young Trey Parker. This guy's Reamer, right?
Yep.
So he's around here somewhere.
He's literally right next to him that would be.
Does it really matter?
Like sitting right next to him in that brown leather jacket and the red shirt. That's Matt Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see it now. Fine. So it goes into the whole story. They're trying to like introduce the movie, and the introduction is, the sports in America has been corrupted. The players don't have any alignment with the guy from saying that, I'm really happy to play in whatever Wisconsin. We're in Minnesota.
Well, the one time that I worked as a greeter.
I mean, I also grew up at a time where a player was like a franchise player. So Magic Johnson was the Lakers. Larry Bird was the Celtics, and Michael Jordan was the Bulls.
Yeah.
All the other players you don't really mind that they've went from here to there. And I gave that's a basketball reference, but you can say whatever. But when stars started to transfer from here to there, that's where kind of.
Well, and then the lines about the teams, which Tom, I think as a fellow American, I found it absolutely hilarious. The Lakers moved to Los Angeles where there are no lakes. The Oilers moved to Tennessee where there is no oil.
The Jazz to Utah where there's no jazz.
Where it said there is no music.
Yeah. Which
and the Raiders went from Oakland to LA to Oakland, but no one in Los Angeles really even noticed.
Yeah. I actually got those references. I actually did. So I'm not, All right. So Reamer and Coop go into a party where they're supposed to be like not invited to, and they kind of want to hit on the main chick there. So they go into her room.
And just so you know, this entire scene, This
has to be written by them.
This was all Matt Stone and Trey Parker, yeah. Because even them having the conversation where he was talking to them, it's like, oh well, you guys haven't changed high school. Yeah, I know. I was like, that's not a good thing. That whatever, beer.
Yeah. And the girl walks in and is like, oh, what are you doing in my mom's room? The thing is so Trey Parker like staple, where it's literally up to this day he does the same thing. That voice. That, to be fair, that's the only good bit, like weird bit that I loved in the movie. The rest of it are like jokey jokes where it's like,
not the scene where Matt Stone is literally drinking from the bidet.
Nah, I like the happy dance though.
Doing the happy
dance. So they go outside and they kind of stumble into inventing. They're playing horse, but they don't want to call it horse, even though they get called out. Well, that's
what we do in the streets.
Yes, and they literally do the horse game, but with psych outs, which is kind of, they stumbled onto that kind of particular game. And of course, at a scene later, it kind of sets up Squeak as their friend, but is also the guy who comes to check their meter. Now, tell me,
he's coming to turn off the gas.
Yeah, he's supposed to. Yeah, he's the gas guy. And the joke with the dog, definitely a David Zucker joke.
Yes, yeah,
it's like,
definitely.
It's like an airplane joke or a naked gun joke.
Gun joke, yeah,
right. 100%. So I get that. And of course
there's also a line that was written by David Zucker that was listed in there that was just a callback to to Scarface.
Okay.
First we get the khakis.
Oh yeah.
Then we get the chicks.
Then we get the chicks. Yeah, because they want to get those chicks.
Yeah.
And of course, because he can't really perform his job, Squeak kind of loses his job. So they take him in and they put him in a corner, and he gets annoyed, but he still makes his bed.
As you can tell, this one is completely written by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, because he says, I swear to God, 13 or 14 more times, and I am out of here.
Exactly. As he makes up his bed where it's literally a box in the corner.
Well, because you are a piece of shit. I'm not a piece of shit, but you are a little bitch. I'm not a little bitch.
So they do get to, they, like I said, stumble onto inventing the basketball. As it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, up comes in Mr. Billionaire. Oh, I love this shot. This is the late great Ernest freaking Borgnine. And he makes this face. And I was like, nice. And he offers them to be professional, make a basketball into a professional thing. And they have their principles, right? Their principles are no one can be traded. Everybody stays in their own team. And we have zero commercials, zero everything. Everything is sponsored by people coming in. That's it.
Well, but also the other thing that he mentions is we're going to make it like it's back in the old days where players were treated like, and then Coop interjects, indentured servants. Exactly.
Yes, where they were paid pennies on the dollar to play and had real jobs, like in baseball. Like in true baseball fashion, by the way, also in soccer in my country for at least the first 25 years of professional soccer, so that team were the team of the bus drivers. That team was the team of the, I don't know, diamond workers or whatever that was.
Well, that's how it was for a very long time. And Tom, you can agree with me on this one. Early baseball, especially in the early 20th century, was how everything was built up. There, unless you were the big major stars, you were a plumber or you were an electrician and you played baseball
Yeah, kind of until like I want to say probably after World War II, especially if not maybe even to the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
oh really?
Maybe not that late, but yeah, it wasn't like most, unless you were somebody like Babe Ruth and stuff like that. It wasn't like your full-time job usually to be a baseball player. I mean, eventually it got to that point, so it might have been a little earlier than that. But yeah, then the franchising and all that stuff kind of came into play, and that's kind of what they're making fun of that, and also I think also more so the basketball part of it, because basketball really started doing that kind of crap in the 70s and 80s, like hardcore. They were moving teams around left and right, and it really started becoming about, you had some of the guys who were like really showboating a lot and stuff like that, and it was basically less about teamwork. And
basically after they got the ABA to kind of integrate with the NBA, where they literally stole all the good players to bring them in.
Kind of, yeah. That's probably where a lot of it started.
It became commercialized. All right. Because we only have Tom for a short little while on the show, we're going to start off with our first segment of the night, which kind of breaks our monotony from just dealing with the movie. It is called Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee for Tom and the uninitiated is we take posters for movies, have their text written off, we display them, and Tom here will guess which movie this is. Let me have it set up. Bam and kablam. I will punch in
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield, correct.
Analyze this.
Analyze this.
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. We're gonna go lightning Blade round Runner. Today. Blade Runner, correct.
I worked in a video store. Sorry. Yeah. Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty.
Oh, this is shoot. This one's gonna stump me now.
Love this movie, by the way.
Trying to think of the name now. It's like
the first part of the title is actually on the poster.
Easy A?
Easy A.
There you go.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Correct.
Philadelphia. Hunt for Red October.
Correct. And the last one is...
The Last Tenenbaums.
Correct. Nice. Ding, ding, ding. I think you did it faster than Drex.
Or the Royal Tenenbaums. That's what I meant.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, sorry about that, but yes.
Yeah.
I got like two
I knew what you meant. It's fine. Cool. Awesome. Nice.
See, typically it takes a lot longer, Tom.
Yeah. Typically, most guests aren't well versed. Even when we had Culture Casino, it didn't go that fast.
No.
Working in a video store, you almost kind of have to get to know some of these things without having to see a title or see them from a distance. So you kind of recognize patterns and stuff more so than anything. But yeah.
I mean, I love it. The whole segment came from my appreciation from actually going to the theater. And in some theaters, well, back in the day, they don't do it now, where they have like a big marquee poster where they had either a painted shot, like one of these where it's painted on, or a picture or some sort of a thing from the poster itself where they had nothing, or they had a very small tagline at the very bottom where you don't really actually look at the tagline. So cool. Just pieces of art, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So we get into getting to see basically the first game. We see a very, very familiar face to a lot of sports fan, Bob Costas.
And who is his co-anchor?
I don't know, but
Al Michaels, who, by the way, threw a hissy fit.
Really?
Al Michaels was only going to get paid $10,000 to be in the film. He found out that Bob was going to make $50,000. He raised such a stink that they raised his fee up to $60,000. That's why all of the lecherous comments come from Al, because Matt Stone and Trey Parker went back and rewrote some of his lines
to reflect.
Yeah, because they wanted to make him look like an asshole. So some of the lines where he goes, yeah, and it's really hard to believe that some of those girls were just in grade school a couple of years ago.
That line rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know why. So we got basically we get dropped into the championship game where Coop kind of messes up the championship last play. And of course, as soon as that happens, Mr. What's his face?
Denslow.
Denslow. Yeah.
It's the Denslow Cup. It's named after him.
Hey, dude, you know me and names. I'm bad at names. The fact that I remember Coop and Reamer is a shock. Anyway,
that's true.
They mess up with the thing, and I love it where they have, a full-on
certainly
loser.
Does seem like it's raining shit on Joe Cooper.
And the guy's vicious. Now, where we turn to a Zucker joke rather than Train Stone joke is the mascot peeing into the thing where he's
tapping the keg.
That's like, oh, that's airplane. Yeah. I get it. Cool. As they
go out and they do go out and they meet Jenna, and immediately Reamer tries to hone in on it and tries to interject himself into it by like, hey, would you like a soft baked pretzel? I made it myself.
It's like,
it's good with
no,
mustard.
You didn't.
Like, what are you talking about?
No, you didn't.
Chicks like it. Guys who can cook. You know this, man. She was just checking out my ass. And then he turns around, grabs the ball, and then throws it at one of the kids. Like, oh, Joey.
Hey, Joey, catch. Bam.
Bang. And it's like, he's blind, Doug.
Yeah.
That was a Trey Parker joke.
Yeah. Yeah. You can literally tell what is a Zucker joke and what is that. And we kind of discussed it backstage. This movie had 9 writers. 9 writers. That means a lot of rewrites, a lot of inserts, and a lot of people that were supposed to get credit and didn't. By the way, like I said to you, IMDb lists only 7, I believe. Yeah. So you said some of them are uncredited.
Technically unwritten, but they are in the WGA as listed as writers.
Yeah. SAG. All right, cool.
But I was add there too is right after they had the conversation where it jumps to that newscast where it shows everyone rioting in the streets, celebrating the felons winning in Dallas, where it's like, yeah, that's indicative of, American sports, Tom. You know this. Oh, if they lose, we riot. If they win, we riot. And it says 14 injured and 3 dead.
Yes.
That's not abnormal.
The days of Chicago.
Yes.
No, just kidding.
You'll even have fights break out against Chicago and Wisconsin fans, or Illinois and Wisconsin fans, depending on. There's just type it in there. You like Cubs versus Brewers fans or Packers versus Cubs fans. You'll see tons of fights on YouTube. They're pretty bad.
You guys are probably not aware of Argentinian soccer, where they literally.
I'm aware of what it is, but yeah.
Oh, they literally in Buenos Aires, the capital, they have like 4 or 5 teams. Every time the main 2 teams play, it's chaos. They literally have to have full stands empty to make sure the bottles won't reach the other side. I think Matt Damon actually told that story. I think it was on Hot Ones or something like that. When he told us, like, yeah, I know that story. From a long time ago. Right. So Denslow is dead. There's a nice little Zucker bit in it where Coop is trying to revive him, and the dog kind of jumps up in and out, and the CGI was hella bad. Was droplets on the Event Horizon bad? But okay.
It was pretty terrible.
Or take your pick,
or I was gonna say, or Blade. The Lamagra scene where he gets cut in half. And the blood. It's pretty terrible. But what was so funny about that is the fact that if he could just perform CPR and the hot dog would come out, that means he's not choking, so he can breathe. So he's not dying then, right?
Yes, but otherwise it's not gonna work. Stop thinking too much. It's a funny movie.
Well, I'm
Stop
sorry,
thinking.
David Zucker. Write better scenes.
That's why you don't like him, dude. That's why you don't like him. Anyway, so Denzel kind of leaves. Denzel kind of leaves.
They go to Denzel's wake, and then
yeah.
Well, actually, no. It's the hearing of the reading of the will, and there is just one line that that Matt Stone interjected and wrote in there, where when he goes and he brings in that the big flower bouquet, like miss you, our dear friend, and he's like, oh no, the funeral was like 2 days ago, dude. Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
So then he gives all the flowers to Jenna.
Yeah.
And then they mentioned the fact about going to the hospital to visit Joey. Joey, the kid, that role,
and it should fit him, right?
Yeah. No, but he goes, well, yeah, I'll go to the hospital. There was at one time I met that really, really hot chick in the French hospital. It's like, that was a hostel, dude.
Yeah, the hostel in France. Yeah.
Side note, if you did not know this, the word dude is said 99 times in this film.
Oh,
overall.
I love the word dude. I called everyone dude.
Surprised.
Not gonna lie, I called Chloe when we were in Manchester. I called Chloe dude several times with no retaliation.
That's good. I think she gets it. She gets it.
Well,
she
it was mostly "I love you, dude," but okay.
She
Chloe
understands.
is very much a very, very transgender person,
yes.
But we love her. Anyway, so Denzel leaves the team to Coop, despite everyone's shock and dismay, even Coop himself. Now, the rival, played by the guy who's evil in everything except for one British TV series called, yes, and I'll say it, it's called Spooks. Yep. I don't know the name of the actor, but he was evil in everything.
His name is Robert Vaughn, and this was his 100th film.
He was in Superman 3.
He was in Superman 3.
Yeah, as far as our generation, but he was in the original Magnificent Seven, and he's done a ton of stuff.
He's been around. He's been on the A-Team a bunch of times, I think. Yeah. Not sure he played the bad guy or the side guy, but
he was good at either, right? Like he was really good at playing, really nice,
conniving
cool
characters,
guy, but like he's really good at playing also, very conniving and evil.
I would like to say like that, Tom. I like to think of him as the Joey Pants of that generation.
That's a good. Not in like the sense of their tone, but like how he would pop up anywhere and could play good and bad equally. Yes, I totally get where you're coming from. Yeah,
nice. All right, cool. That's just a shot to give you my idea. It's like that shot kind of epitomized his character in the movie. They don't really develop him that much. He's just, they put him as a token.
They don't really need to, and that's probably why they casted him in the role, right?
They casted him as a evil owner representing all the evil owners that do the stuff that was in the intro, kind of manipulate everything to their advantage.
Well, the whole thing is they needed an antagonist in the film. That was it. And it was just basically a complete juxtaposition of what Coop and Reamer made the game for.
Yeah, so we have a start of the new season.
We have the whole Zucker line of the pun, all the innuendos, the laying carpet where she's actually laying carpet,
where she's actually laying carpet,
buffing, where she literally sucks the chrome off a trailer hitch, where it's like
with. I like it when they had her like with the silver lips. It's closer to the end of the movie, but we don't. It was okay. Again, same McCarthy 1998, where it's just Jenny McCarthy thing that I hired her to do.
You're dipping out a little bit there.
I did now.
I was going to say just in the interim we have.
Let me fix. Go ahead.
Okay, we have some very funny little lines in there. Again, with some of the psych outs, the callback to the old Foster's campaign, Tom, of the late '90s. It's like, this is Australian for when he grabs Squeak and pulls his pants. This is Australian for vagina. It's like, no, that was an Australian joke, not a gay joke.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it doesn't sound like you guys enjoyed this movie as much as I did, especially when it came out, because believe it or not, this movie made me give South Park a second chance. I was not a fan of South Park at first. Yeah, I was like, it's all right, but it just wasn't, to me at first, as clever as Beavis and Butthead. And Matt and Trey are right. Like the show didn't hit its stride until that third season or so.
Yeah,
especially like the movie is what did it. So I watched a few more episodes after I saw Baseketball, and it also just happened to correspond with the time the movie came out. And when I saw the movie, like South Park finally clicked for me after seeing this and seeing the South Park movie. I'm like, okay, I get these guys now, right? It took me a little bit to warm up to them, and maybe it was needing Zucker's kind of easing into it because I grew up on that stuff, right? Like Airplane, those kind of things were always on TV. Like
always,
we can quote
even
them
for us
constantly. To Top Secret. I mean, they had a run of films there that, like, you know, were huge. So, like, I get some people don't like their humor, and I do. After this is, as far as I'm concerned, was Zucker's last good film. Because after this, they went on to do like the Scary Movie stuff. They picked up the franchise, and I'm like, that stuff is garbage. Like, they actually made it worse than what the Wayans did, as far as I was concerned. I'm like, I didn't think they could do that. It's like, how do you take the guys who created this franchise, this whole idea of this stuff, and they can't even do it anymore? They've lost touch with it. So maybe that's what it was. It was kind of that transition there. But I know you had some other things you wanted to get into there. Sorry about
don't worry, Tom.
No, please, whatever you want.
We're sticking to the movie, but we're free flowing here. That's fine.
We kind of ramble on, so please, Tom, interject anytime.
No, like this movie took me by surprise. I was just like, literally, like, there's a few jokes that like when Robert Stack's like, we have no fucking clue where this guy is or whatever. Like, I couldn't stop laughing. I had to stop the movie. It was laughing so hard. Yeah, I was like, that whole Robert Stack bit, some of the other stuff in the movie that I couldn't at that point, it just kind of clicked for me. Because before that, South Park just came off as kind of juvenile. And sure, this movie is very juvenile. Don't get me wrong.
Very much.
But it just, something about it, something clicked about their humor that I'm like, okay, I get these guys now. And I can.
Which is so funny too, Tom, because this was actually the summer that they had two. Well, they had one like major comedy hit of that summer. It was the first American Pie.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the big one. And this movie just squeaked under. And the only reason why it got any recognition whatsoever was because it was like, these are the guys who made South Park.
Right.
See them in a movie.
Again,
they made 2 movies beforehand.
And it's
this
funny
is one of those movies. Sorry, Tom. This is one of those movies where we cover on the podcast where, we kind of went to the box office, and the box office were like, but we know this movie. And it's like, oh yeah, the DVD sales were DVDs or VHSs for some of the movies kind of carried it into that status where it's, everybody knows this.
It happened to come out at that right time because DVD was just becoming a thing. And there was a series of events that happened that made DVD the biggest home video format ever. And it did save a lot of movies' butts. Because Baseketball, you're right, if it would have released maybe a month sooner or a month later and not so close to American Pie, it was the perfect movie for the perfect time. Because you had a string of films like Dumb and Dumber, American Pie, and then Something About Mary came out later that year.
That's right.
And with those kind of, like, this movie should have made bank in that, because it fit perfectly. But I think you're right. American Pie probably sucked, because it did. It sucked so much air out of the room. I remember going to see American Pie 3 or 4 times probably.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that was like that comedy for my generation. And that was the year I graduated. So it was just a perfectly timed movie for my generation. And you're right, this movie did squeak, pun intended, underneath the radar for me until it came out on video. Actually,
don't let this youthful look disguise my real age, Tom. I'm
not sure how old you guys are, but yeah, okay.
I'm 43.
Cool. Oh, all right, yeah. So you're a year older than me, actually, yeah.
Oh,
and it was actually, Tom, this came out the summer of '98. That was right when I was going into high school. So like American Pie was.
This
is what I have to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is what's going to happen.
That was a big misrepresentation, man.
Oh yeah. Oh of course. Oh, of course. They always are.
It was just the Porkies of our generation, basically, is what it was.
But I remember I actually did end up going and seeing Baseketball with one of my friends who we had watched South Park together. And like yeah, let's go see this movie. And what we did is what you typically did. We bought some tickets for some random PG movie and then just snuck in to see Baseketball. Because it was just us by ourselves. Or
which is why I think it probably did better than people think too. And the same thing for the South Park film, even though that did well, I think there was a lot of money that went to other movies that
I mean,
a lot of people I know.
How many Disney movies today don't get enough cash because people pay for something else and they snuck into whatever Thor or fucking Dr.
Well, yeah,
Strange.
now that's the irony of it. The same people who used to do that to get into R-rated movies are now doing it so they don't get seen paying for PG-13
movies. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because that was our old gimmick back then. Because for those who may be listening that are younger, or live or on the playback, like back then, this was right in the height of the end of the Clinton era, where theaters really, really got into carding and making sure you were of age to get into movies. Like it used to be, they didn't give a crap. You could just walk in and say whatever movie and they would just let you in. But then all of a sudden it was like, unless you had somebody who was at least 13 and or 17 going into one of these movies, you were screwed and they would not let you in. Yep. No way, shape or form. So we got smart pretty darn quick. So it was like, yeah, we're going to see Toy Story, and instead we go see, Blade. But that's kind of what it was. But yeah.
For us too, like literally at that time, I was, I don't know, 97, like 96, 97, 98. It's like 16, 17, 18 for me. And I was literally having to have a buddy with me, and all the NC-17 stuff for us, it was 18 and up. And we paid for tickets because we didn't look. I don't know. I don't know how.
So where did you say you're located again?
I'm from Israel.
Okay, yeah. See, that's the thing. Something R-rated here would probably be more harsh for you guys over there.
Yes,
I'd imagine
for sure. Like
so, yeah.
Everything,
you have to be only 17, but yeah.
Everything was way more. Like Cruel Intentions came out in 1998 with fucking Buffy and Reese Witherspoon and that guy that nobody likes now. And it was 18 plus. We were,
and I think that was barely R here.
That was barely R, yeah.
It was. I think it was rated.
I think it was rated R here, but it was barely here. Like, yeah, it could have passed for PG-13 in most cases.
I think didn't have any issues buying tickets.
I would say the only reason why I was rated R, Tom, I think was because they used the word "fuck" more than 4 times.
Yeah, and I think because of the violence in it near the end or whatever.
A little bit.
Was it. Like, yeah. Other than that, like. That's the thing. Even Blade nowadays, because people freak out about Blade being PG-13 coming up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm more freaked out about it just being Marvel Disney than anything.
Yeah, like, very much so.
Yeah.
That's where my
PG-13 Blade is doable. You can actually look at the 97 Blade film, and really, you cut out the F words and some of the boobs and stuff. It'd be PG-13.
Yeah, very much.
I really would.
I don't even think there's boobs in fucking.
I think
Blade.
there's boobs in that opening scene when they're in the dance club. Yeah, there's
there
some
is,
bits here and there, but
in the Blood Rave, because it does the white T-shirt thing, and you can clearly get they're wearing,
Yeah, but you can get away with editing around some of that stuff. Yeah. And the MPA doesn't care as long as it's not humans. If it's like vampires, aliens, robots, whatever, you could kill them all day long. They don't care.
Yeah, that's right. No, by the way, I was literally keying up. You said it's the late term of the Clintons, and when they go and meet Joey, and it's
okay, we got to talk
Joey,
about
what do you want? What is the best thing you want? And he says Chelsea Clinton, and Reamer goes,
no.
You may have more shot with Bill. And
there's a whole line. This entire scene was written by Madsen and Trey Parker, and the same the other hospital scene later where they improvise and where they're trying to use the shock pads.
They get him drunk and shit.
Yeah. This whole bit was written by Madsen and Trey Parker. So when he wakes up, he looks up and goes, "Joey, we have a surprise for you." He looks up and goes, "My biological father?"
Yeah.
No, so what do you want to do, like, for your lesson? Like, big game hunting? I want to kill a giant panda. Like, no, we can't do that. Can we poison a reservoir? No, dude. I think you're missing the whole point of this whole thing. Like,
they're trying to
release some flesh-eating fish into a local lake. Like, no, what do you really, really want? And that's just Chelsea Clinton.
the thing about this whole scene is supposed to be like the Babe Ruth kind of legend thing jumbled
comes
into
comes up later,
where he like hits 2 home runs for a dying kid, which never happened, but okay. Right. And they do pull it off, and when they literally try to cheer up the guy, they take him to a bar and fucking do shots. And I was like,
well, then they look up and they're like, they play the Jerry Springer game.
Oh,
or it's
no. And they do shots for every fight, and they're gonna get fucking
hammered. Fight.
Yep.
And then it shows the first instance of Squeak's future partner.
Well, technically no, but yeah. Anyway,
we get to it.
And of course, they get to the game. Reamer hits 2 home runs drunk. Then he does not hit a home run.
Well, no, it shows him on the mound where one of the ref walks up to the other one like, what's wrong with Kubi? Like,
oh yeah,
he's 1 for 11. Smells like Christian Slater. Because
and
by the way, that ref, that was Joey Coco Diaz.
Yeah, love him.
Which I knew you'd love that note.
I remembered when I saw this the first time, it's like, oh yeah, that's the guy. And I literally forgot he has such a tiny little role. But almost the best line of the movie. But
they do cut to the nurse at where Joey is having his liver transplant. Because he's 8 years old and he smells like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. And I was like, For people who don't remember, Robert Downey Jr. was a mess.
Yes,
a total mess. Right.
I think this was right after the incident where he broke into someone's house and slept in their kid's bunk bed.
No, I think that was 2000, where they literally sent him for, I think it was a couple of months to jail or something. He was on trial. Like we literally had like newscasts from, it's Robert Downey Jr. going to fucking jail. I think.
Well, it was.
I may have misremembered stuff, but I do remember him getting fucking arrested for something serious. All right, Tom, you have to go right now. We have one more segment.
Yeah. Please,
two, 3 minutes. You've got.
Yes, I can do that.
We usually do it later on, but we wanna have you enjoy this because we love this segment. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
All right, Screen Fighter is this. We take 2 movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. There's no discernible difference between the 2. Both of them are good. Both of them are bad. We fall onto our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. We've got 2 movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in and bablam? Any Given Sunday or Knight's Tale?
Take it away, Tom.
I'm going with Any Given Sunday, sir.
Any Given Sunday. Any particular reason?
I didn't like Knight's Tale.
All right, cool.
But if I'm hanging out with like a lady, I probably would go with Knight's Tale. But other than that, definitely Any Given Sunday.
All right, all my feelings.
I would also go with Any Given Sunday because I think Al Pacino is fantastic in that film. He's almost peak Al Pacino, just behind Son of a Woman and The Devil's Advocate.
And the supporting cast is amazing.
It is peak Al Pacino.
Probably one of
That's
Oliver Stone's
a
best
big
too.
breakout for Jamie Foxx, right?
Well, as far as his dramatic stuff, yeah. And as far as Oliver Stone goes, it's probably one of my favorites for him too. Yeah.
Cool. To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck or Avengers: Age of Ultron. Tom.
I guess I would have to. I mean, what's a scenario here? Because, hey,
pick whatever you like. That doesn't matter. It's a personal pick.
Boy, see, I did not dislike Avengers: Age of Ultron as much as most people do, but man, To Kill a Mockingbird is a classic. It's a tough one.
And as
you want my choice?
Make an argument for me, guys. Here, yeah.
I'm gonna go with The Kill a Mockingbird. I didn't like the way they constructed the story in Age of Ultron. Seemed kind of contrived to me. I'm not a comic book guy, so I don't have any attachment to the Ultron kind of saga in the comic books, even though I kind of read it later on. I'm gonna go with The Kill a Mockingbird. I'm gonna fall on my roots as a film, high school film stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna follow up with that, Meth. You know how much I actually really love To Kill a Mockingbird. I think Gregory Peck's portrayal in that is one of the greatest father figures in film, which I told you to tell Drex.
Yes, and I forgot.
Yeah, I have a whole list of those. Tom, so I randomly got a message from Ev asking me hey, real quick, can you give me just 10 of the greatest father figures in film real quick?
Okay.
So the connection here is that Tony is the father of Ultron and Gregory Peck is okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say
go with The Kill a Mockingbird though. I think it's a better story.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with you guys on Mockingbird, but I was gonna say as far as my feel I'd have to be a certain mood for either one of those movies. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's all about that. Right. We're gonna do our last one, and we'll let you go, Tom. Okay. There Will Be Blood or Panic Room. Seen There Will Be Blood recently for something I was planning on, which didn't fall. I'm gonna go with There Will Be Blood. Tom?
I think I'm gonna reflect that because I didn't think Panic Room was as good as I was hoping for originally. And was it Paul Thomas Anderson who directed There Will Be Blood?
I don't remember.
Can't remember, but I was gonna say that was one of his better ones too if it was him, but I can't remember who it was.
Panic Room is David Fincher?
That one I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as There Will Be Blood, I think that has the better performances, the better overall story. It's remembered more anyway. Panic Room to me was kind of a disappointment for Lynch. It was
very much
Fincher who directed that one.
Because this was after Seven, after Fight Club.
Yeah, it was kind of a disappointment for me.
Great films, and this was just kind of a dud.
To where There Will Be Blood, if I remember right, that was kind of a surprise for me because I wasn't as huge of a fan of I'm pretty sure it was Paul Thomas Anderson, but I can't remember now who it was who directed it. But yeah.
I'll check it later. It doesn't matter.
But anyhow, I will go with There Will Be Blood.
But also, there are so many lines that in There Will Be Blood that are quotable. They're like, "I drink your milkshake." Yeah. That scene.
Those lines, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember a single memorable moment from Panic Room. Full stop.
Not really.
Forrest Whitaker?
Now you just reminded me he was in it.
Yeah. I forgot that Jared Leto was in that movie.
Good character. Is the only
Jared Leto's in it?
Good.
Yeah, with the Panic Room.
Yeah, he's the crazy motherfucker.
And the young girl, that's Kristen Stewart.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay. And she does not act well in that movie either.
All I remember is what's her face, the main star, and that's about
Jodie
it.
Foster.
Jodie Foster, yeah.
All right, Tom.
Well, this has been fun, guys. I wish I could stick
Yeah,
around a little longer. We'll have to
Of
plan
course,
for
of
this
course.
for another day too.
I know Saturday or afternoon is such a weird time, but literally is for me the only time we can do it.
I tend to double book myself too often. Six will vouch for that in the chat. That's my problem. Yeah, because I my time zones, I get them messed up. So then it's like, oh, I can do that. Yeah, I can do. Oh crap, I'm at the same time as something else. So yeah, but fortunately, I was able to squeeze in an hour here, and I wish I could stay longer. And I definitely want to come back if you guys will have me. So you'll have to let me know what the upcoming films are.
I will definitely have you on. We've got numerous things we want to cover, but we only have one time at the Saturday. But guys,
we have films set up all the way until May of next year.
Yeah. May already.
Let me know, and I'll let you know what I'm really good at. There's certain ones that I may be.
If you're into like politics stuff, we're gonna do special stuff for November, where we, by the way, Oh My Feelings, also have elections during November. Surprise!
Yay!
I normally avoid it, but no, like Baseketball just happened to be one of those movies that I do enjoy quite a bit. So yeah, just let me know what you got coming up for movies and topics, and I'll let you know.
I will literally send you a link to the Google Drive thing as a viewer. You can go down the list up and down and see what we covered, what we're going to cover, everything. I'm just going to send you on later on. All right. Thanks, Tom.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it.
Take care, guys. Nice to meet you.
Go subscribe to Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark, and do check out the Midnight's Edge radio. That one was awesome.
Well, and if anybody's here because of me, subscribe to these guys. This was a lot of fun. So
thanks, man.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Later.
Appreciate it. Take care. Cool. Let's move on. So we were so Coop kind of fails and they go back into because they are afraid that Joey's going to go
because they do have they have the line there and her. It's almost as if I could smell her perfume.
Just tell me where, and I'll jump into it.
It's the scene where they're throwing up in the dugout.
Oh, okay.
and it's Reamer and Squeak going, "Hey, that's the girl from the bar."
Yeah,
like that's a dude.
Yeah, that is a dude.
The softest, poutiest lips, the cutest Adam's apple.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the cheapest joke ever. I mean,
I know
it's funny, but it's the cheapest joke ever, man. But you know,
it was 1997 when this was filmed. It was a different time.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
So I like the fact that it's literally Zucker central when they go and try and revive Joey. Where he
oddly enough,
no, don't tell me it's them.
That was half Stone, half Parker.
Wow.
Then some of it was a little bit of Zucker. It was the
slapstick.
No, the slapstick bit. No, the improv that they had at the end. Like I'm giving it all she got. I love you. I always have. That was all improv. That Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they were just spitting movie lines back and forth to each other.
Yeah,
that was them on that part. The rest of it was all Zucker.
Yeah, I mean that was like full on. That was full on slapsticks that you see. Again, we said it. Naked Gun, Police Squad type stuff, right? Yeah. With Nordberg, you would literally replace little old Joey with the Juice, and you get the same scene.
Yeah,
exactly.
Much.
I think, by the way, there is the same scene, but I'm not really sure which Naked Gun it is. Is it the first one or the second one or the third one, where they literally abuse Nordberg?
I believe that's Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Okay, so that's it. Literally starts with basically Nordberg in a bed where they abuse him. So that came to mind.
So they do have the whole setup there, where then Jenna and Coop later after the hospital scene, because we can skip the rest of the hospital scene. It's really
it's just.
But when Jenna and they're forming their relationship here, and it's really becoming a solid foundation where he's making sure that, hey, I'm not going anywhere. And then he mentions that the ball that he has, the sign, well, not the sign one, but the ball, the third home run ball that comes
the
back
Reggie
later.
Jackson one. Yeah.
Reggie Jackson. He's like, yeah, it's for Mr. October. And he calls out the guy from a Chippendales calendar from 1997. And she goes, "Who?" Like, he goes, "Oh no, I mean Reggie Jackson."
I mean Reggie Jackson. So they kind of hit it off, making out, and Reamer and Squeak kind of, waltz in with their medical regalia because they stole it from the hospital.
Yeah.
And she kind of, it's like, I don't want to be between you, blah, blah, blah. And she leaves. And, and Trey Parker gets so annoyed, but he doesn't want to take it out on his best friend. So he does the happy dance, which I told you when we met.
The happy dance.
I told you when we met in Manchester, I told you, I think I've seen this happy dance before. And you said, no, this is the first time he did it. And then later on, it became something else later on. It's like, I've seen it somewhere else. It's like, doing the happy dance. But of course, the happy dance does not calm him down. It's sort of like the Seinfeld Serenity Now. Insanity later. So he tries to yell.
Instead it's say hoochie mama.
Hoochie mama. So he yells. He tried to yell in Reamer's thing, but it already went to Squeak, where it was the the clear joke. Squeak jumps out the fucking window. So the mad owner, Mr. Vaughn, kind of realized where the
his name is
Baxter King. So he realizes that the dynamics and how stupid actually Reamer is. He calls him into the office, and the joke that I personally love, where again, you can't do it today, is the fact that he trying to emphasizes how Coop doesn't appreciate Reamer. He says, well, it's three guys living in a shared home. And you know what that tells me? Reamer goes, homos? Like, no, you're not appreciated. You're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid. And you're like, well, so you don't want me to... Wait, you don't want Coop to play basketball anymore? Kane's infuriation. That's the only good bit of the only good thing about that whole bit is like ha.
And I mean, the Ty Cobb
the Cobb bat, then also the real life Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes,
which oddly enough, the only reason why Kareem agreed to be in the film was because it was David Zucker.
Because he was also because Kareem was in the original Airplane. And I like the fact that he's just sitting there, he's like in his full Laker regalia, and then when they move off from the room, he goes out of the room and he punches a ticket.
Punches a time card. It's like,
that was like, yes, I get it.
So stupid. Oh, it's so fucking
stupid.
Dumb.
It just
so fucking
brings a smile to my face. I mean, if I look at it on the whole, all these jokes, because we're a little bit older and we've seen this already, as in before 1998, we've seen this already. It becomes kind of, we've seen this and this, and we also have seen this countless times in like Scary Movie 3 and such, where it's funny, it lands, but it's a haha, and we move on. And when I laugh at it here on the podcast, it makes me laugh on it, not because I think it's such a fucking ho, such a fucking amazing joke. I like the little quips and things that they put in, but those are like few and far between. And when you're saying to me, well, this is because they rewrote that part and this is what Parker and Stone were in charge of, it's like, yeah, I get it. That's the smart little written humor that we got in Orgasmo when we discussed Orgasmo, where you could tell where all the things, because we know South Park, where all the jokes kind of land because it's them in charge of it.
Yeah.
So
moving on. So we have then there's a bit of dissension in the ranks. Then Coop offers up, is like, oh, listen, okay, I understand where you guys are coming from. We're all going to be equal owners in the team now. It's not just going to be just me, because the team feels like that they're let down. So they have, there's one line in there that gets me every time I watch this movie, and it makes me laugh so hard because it's so true. You notice in the dugout, there are multiple people in there besides Matt Stone,
yes.
Trey Parker, and Deanne Bashar. So besides Coop, Reamer, and Squeak, right?
Yeah.
Al Michaels even says it. He goes like, yeah, and we'll be right back with the same three guys that you saw last time. It's just a real quick overdub, just a sideline that just slid right in there, and I'm like, okay, that's fucking funny. That is really fucking funny because the movie is mocking itself.
Yes, because literally the other guys, they might have just changed. It's like 3 or 4 other guys, right?
Yeah.
They might as well change who those are every single time they're in the shot,
and it wouldn't
nobody
matter,
would ever notice, right? They are so inconsequential to the team, but they're a part of the team and now part of the owners. And making Reamer the owner makes him go fucking crazy.
Part of it, but then they have the whole setup right before the whole playoffs where they have the last bit with the LA team with the guy who's the big Samoan guy.
Yes.
The big Squeak psych out.
Yeah.
Which yeah, guess who wrote that one?
Yeah, I would pin that on them for sure.
I heard your mother's deaf. She's dead.
She's dead.
Oh, that's why she didn't move around that much.
Not much. Hey. Don't worry about it. Stop. Your face is making me laugh, dude.
Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
The joke was so fucking dumb and predictable, but your face just made it way more funny. Anyway, so like I said, Reamer gets crazy. I like the fact that he has a white leather lazy boy while he's sitting in the dugout.
Well, then also when he makes the shot, he sits down in a director's chair and has another guy do the rounds for him.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is too, they have the decline of access in this.
Yeah.
Where it's all set up. So it's supposed to be, they're only doing the clothing line to get money for Genesis Foundation. That was what it's supposed to be. So again, the movie goes against itself. How the hell is Reamer getting all this money? Because he's not supposed to see a dime of it. It's all supposed to go to charity. It's against the bylaws for them to make any money off of anything.
Yeah.
So that's like,
no, it's personal sponsors. That was so. Never mind.
But the
logic of storytelling
in this movie,
the story itself, without the jokes, falls apart immediately. Immediately.
Now, what's great is the next bit is the fact they mentioned before this, they have the whole mention of the first 7 months of the postseason of Baseketball. 7 months to the playoffs, and then they go through the entire spiel. At the very end of it, he just goes, and if a winner can't be found at the very end of it, they go, the 2-man sack race will be held on consecutive Saturdays.
Yeah. I mean, look at this fucking playoff. Look at this fucking playoff board. Literally, if you check, there are the same teams on both sides.
Oh yeah, they're repeated over and over and over and over and over again.
There's 10 teams or something like that.
Yeah,
they're all jumbled up together. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But it's stupid for being stupid.
Yeah, but then we have the line there when they're standing next to each other. This is the locker room scene that we mentioned before. This is the first scene that they had with Yasmin.
I'm aiming for it. Don't worry.
They're fully nude. But
they are.
But Parker does his first mention of a South Park voice.
Yes.
Yes. I forget about how much Doug Reed cares about kids. He does the Mr. Mackey voice.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, that's interesting. Maybe it's just like a Trey Parker thing. And I was like, no, I think he just pulled it, and he just pulled it out of South Park. And it was such a small little bit where a South Park fan might pick up on it, but not at the time in the movies when it was at the movies. I don't think so.
To be fair, I think anybody going to see this movie had seen South Park. Like, oh, this is the movie by the guys who made South Park. Yeah, I'm going to go watch this. It's going to be funny.
I mean, you said you watched this in the theater. Mm-hmm. This one, and
it was on
Orgasmo.
Yeah,
I watched those on DVD well past the 2000s.
Oh yeah, Orgasmo definitely, because Orgasmo was never released in the theaters because it got the kiss of death. It got the NC-17 rating. Yes. Like you can't. No, they were never going to put it in major.
I mean, I haven't even heard of those two movies.
Yeah, good. Cannibal, yeah.
2002, I think. Like right after I got out of the army, so 2001. Yeah, after that, 2002 at least. So yeah, so
so we have Kane come in and basically just gives them the whole spiel about blackmail.
Yes,
and he gets infuriated by them too, where it's just like, oh, you're so.
Yes, exactly. He's massaging his temples on how stupid they are about how much are they gonna get fucked, and. He pulls out this like, oh, you've done your charity thing. Yeah, you've used like slave labor to do the shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
And simply just blackmail them on charity things.
And then we have Yasmin believes that Jenna's character come in, and then she is at the whole bit where this was her first scene with them and standing there naked in front of her.
Yeah, and as they give out hung jokes.
Yes, the penis, a big throbbing cock.
Yeah.
And then they have so Jenna leaves because she thinks that they knew about it the entire time, which wasn't true. They had no idea.
And they have a big blowout between friends.
And then he has the one line where he goes, "Pig fucker, can I call you pig fucker?" No, only my friends can call me pig fucker.
And of course, they break up. Reamer stays and does the playoff because it's 7 months.
And also, it was after where Reamer was in the hot tub with Victoria Silvstedt,
the 1997 Playmate of the Year. And they keep repeating that, whereas like, I hate these kind of jokes. I hate them so much.
Yeah, who wrote those?
I know. It's like you said, it's a little bit of losing touch here. And
then we have the scene with him in the car and the song. Oh my God, that song is so great.
Yeah,
before he goes to Calcutta.
Yeah, before it's on the way to like the airport. It's like no. He has that realization where
while he's listening to the song. Yeah. You got to fight her. And your girlfriend thinks you suck. And those warts on your dick will go away. So you use topical cream every day.
It genuinely a Trey Parker and Matt Stone song where, dude, I can't get the Man from Orgasmo out of my head all fucking week.
I know.
Fucking week. Yeah. Oh my God.
Live it. Yeah. I know.
By the way, the girls
just be thankful. Just be thankful that you didn't watch Cannibal the Musical, because Cannibal the Musical, those songs would be stuck in your fucking head forever. Like Let's Build a Snowman. Oh,
I'm
it gets stuck in
afraid
your
that
head.
the Book of Mormon songs will be stuck in my head for years. I still haven't watched that. I hate musicals so
It's really good. But can you see why they wanted to make Orgasmo a musical? Because Now You're a Man was going to be one of the big opening ones. Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell, like, it's their thing. You can see it in South Park. You can see it everywhere. It's like they're part of their art is combining storytelling with through a song rather than just showing you or just telling you. Which I appreciate
I think
that.
you should still watch Cannibal, because I know we're on the Mass on Trey Parker. You really need to watch Cannibal the Musical just once, because it's.
I have it.
Watch it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I took the time and tried to get it. I told you, you cannot pirate that shit. Even you have to get it.
It's hard to find.
It's really hard to find. Right.
So we have everything while he's in Calcutta fixing things. They have the whole bit with Robert Stack and the Unsolved Mysteries, which by far is so like I think this is probably the best bit in the entire fucking movie. It is so fucking funny.
Plus, as I was getting older, I actually had access to that show because of not local stuff that was coming in here, was rather there was a channel. I don't remember if it was British or like a far Asian channel that we got that had American TV stuff in it. So daytime soap operas, daytime game shows, and cops and mysteries. So I knew Robert Stack for Mysteries before it was a thing in movies to do as a bit. So
I think that's one of the only films that he really did it for. But
I think there's a couple more here and there. It's like some very small bits. I can't really, off the top of my head, I can't really
anyway,
tell you.
The funniest bit about it is when he's talking about all the people around Coop and everything, and he mentions that nosy. We even asked that nosy bitch who lives up the street. So we went to ask some of his friends, and we went to Doug Reamer, his former best friend. As was like, I don't know. I hope he's hanging by his neck in a fucking closet. Scenario 1: he's hanging by his neck in a fucking closet. And it goes to Jetting. I was like, wherever you find Coop, you'll find him doing the most deplorable thing and exploiting children in the worst way. Like, Scenario 2: Coop is at Disney World.
Dude, that floored me. And I was like, this sounds particularly 2022.
Yes, it was so fucking funny.
So.
And then they did the side-by-side. We did a computer analysis, and given that this is what he might look like today, it was a shot of Trey Parker and then Mr. T.
Mr. T. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God. Robert Stack does it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many takes he needs to do to make it happen, but he does it so like deadpan into the camera as if it was a real show. And I was like, God damn, that's fucking good, man.
Yeah. So then it cuts to it's Reamer trying to get the team motivated, and he's standing outside, and he's looking outside on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Like a better term, I guess that's what they would call it, a court,
basketball,
or field. I don't know, but he's like, "We got this, guys. We know." And everyone's going, "Yeah, yeah."
Because VLC failed. God damn. Okay, keep going.
So Coop walks in, and then after that, then it cuts to another scene of to Joey and all the kids. They're watching the basketball, the Denslow Cup.
Yeah.
And just like, well, you need to turn this off. And then she changes the channel to the another episode of Unsolved Mysteries, saying like, oh well, he turns out that he went in and turn the entire factory around. They're all adults working there. They all have health care. Everything's great. It's like, and if I were a woman, I'd wrap my legs around him, gently hugging him and cuddling him in the spoon position for hours on end. Us looking at each other, gazing into each other's eyes longingly, and someone splashes water in his face. Thank you.
Yeah, and that was, to be fair, that was my favorite part. Because like I said, he was so deadpan when it actually happens. It just threw me off a little bit, because I remembered it, but you don't remember every single detail in the movie. And when I rewatched it, it's like, oh, Robert Stack can literally do Daniel Steele as an audiobook, and it would be hilarious.
Oh God, yeah.
It would be hilarious. Oh my God. A picture of Fabio on the book and Robert Stack in your ear. Gorgeous.
But then we have the scene where the beers are losing clearly, and we have the whole thing set up where they have the the Maka Laka Laka balance board scene.
Yeah. Now, this scene, I was like, watched it twice. I literally watched it, rewinded back, watched it again. It was like, why are they doing this?
It was supposed to It's supposed to celebrate their Caribbean brothers for the halftime show.
I mean,
why are they doing it? Because it's supposed to be a giant big South Park joke. Because you know how the Beers are playing the friendly natives, and the felons were supposed to play the colonialists. That was supposed to be the whole juxtaposition in the joke there. Yeah.
It's not funny. The only funny bit in this is the literally Squeak has the spiel, and Reamer and Coop kind of realize that they're friends, and they're going like, and it kind of sets up at the beginning of the movie where they had a conversation where it was just dude, and they both kind of get what they were saying. Harkens back to this where it's a setup and a payoff, which I like, and they go like to make up. They don't use too many words. It's like dude, and they kiss.
Yeah. Well, and also the line when they fall in, they quote Titanic.
Yeah, and that was the first Titanic thing where it was literally a year before it was the Titanic, 1997.
Yeah.
And at the end, there's also the Squeak bit. I'm the king of the world.
Yeah.
So they fall in and they have that fucking, I mean, I'm not going to put it on screen because I don't want to.
Yeah.
The weirdest kiss ever. But if you watch the kiss intently, Matt Stone is actually doing a good job, and Trey Parker is like not doing a good.
It was supposed to be an improv gag.
I
know. They threw in there, and he just went, "Fuck it, we'll put it in." They weren't supposed to kiss. You know that, right?
They weren't supposed to kiss.
No, they weren't. It was improv.
That was a very much a like Stone and Parker moment.
At the time. It was just an improv thing because it's like this is the only way to really cut the tension and to make it a joke at the end there. It's like, just have him kiss.
Okay.
So we have the whole after that. Then the Beers do a rallying bit. They do have the.
I like the fact that when the kids go to like they want to go to the
stadium. Fucking Zucker! Oh my God! Fuck you! Worthless.
That's David Zucker.
No. That's I think it's Jimmy Johnson.
That's a David Zucker joke. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, 1000%.
Yeah, when they go in and then okay, you need to step on it. Okay, puts on the helmet and the thing. Let's go. Yeah, I know. It's
what purpose did that serve?
It's cheap.
None. It wasn't even funny.
It's cheap.
So then they do have the second callback to South Park in this one. Where like, I haven't been able to psych him out all night. Like, just make fun of him. Just make fun. Like Squeak says, just call him fat. He's like, I can't. Oh, that's mean, dude. I can't do that. So Parker does the Eric Cartman voice.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay, I got you. And it didn't make me laugh. It was this, it's like,
Nah, it was just a fun little like reference. That was the only thing about it. Like, that's from the show I like.
Yeah, exactly. And we had the little when they settle down and start playing, or right before they start playing, they have that Chrome joke where Jenny McCarthy
I
sucks
told you,
down the
so
fucking
the Chrome
thing.
hit trailer hit, yeah.
Which it was. Again, it was like I said, this is Jenny McCarthy thing.
That's a Zucker joke.
That's a
the
Zucker
Cartman
joke.
thing was clearly masked on a Trey Parker, and this was just the callback to the original Denslow Cup. You know, again, a payoff from the original game,
from the original one,
nice.
exactly. Yeah. And of course, they start playing the game, and they have the last shot, of course, to win the game. Blah blah blah, and
by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but the Denslow Cup that they have, it has the big baseball and the netting on it. On top of it was the original Denslow Cup they had back when they were playing the game in that neighborhood game. It's the original bowl.
Yes, it's the original bowl.
Yeah.
And cool. Of course, after they win, before they hoist the cup, we have
Joey Cup. Well, Coop for his last shot, he was bouncing Lazy Boy, which was the ball that he made.
Yeah, and it broke.
It pops. Joey shows up, gives him a new one. It's the Barker Lounger ball. Yeah. Payoff to that story too.
Was a little bit. It was a little bit too much contrived and stuff. Where it wasn't a jokey thing, it was a story thing, and again, one of those story things where it doesn't really land.
Yeah, and it also didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. They win the game by bouncing off stuff because that's one part of the rules. And when everything kind of, everything is.
Well, it was a callback to when they originally won their local championship. How they did the same thing with the tip in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a callback to it.
And of course, they had to have set up
wait, no. Before that, there is the scene where it cuts to Robert Stack again. Where you sit there like, we still have no fucking clue where this guy is, and it shows him winning the Denslow Cup. Like,
yeah. I mean,
we still have no fucking clue where this guy is.
From a shot where he wins the cup.
Yes, and also I don't know if you noticed, but everyone in the shots of the whole thing of Unsolved Mysteries they're either playing solitaire or there are two people that are playing Myst.
I think you mean this guy right there.
Yep.
That has gone unnoticed by me because I didn't give a shit, and I watched this movie twice on a monitor this big. Can you see it?
Oh, gotcha. Well, so then we go to
Reggie. I did edit the short. We do have a short this week, but couldn't.
So we do go to the scene with Reggie, and Reggie gives him back the deflated Lazy Boy. He's like, "Hey, some kid was about to take this, and it's like, I got 2 of my home run balls, but some wretched little shit has a 3rd one." It's like, oh man, that sucks because Coop is the one who has his 3rd one, and he goes like, hey Coop,
no, and when
I don't have your fucking ball.
Yeah, Coop kind of turns around and goes to get the cup, and Reggie's like, oh wait a second, Coop, I don't have your fucking ball.
I was like, yeah, we should get a hot dog sometime. That sounds really nice.
Yeah. Reggie is literally being genuine, and you can tell, like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, this is not the actual face, but yeah, it is literally that. And
then we have, of course, they have that the little cheap gags at the end. where Squeak gets knocked down there.
Yeah,
Then they also have Squeak with his lady
his
friend,
main
for lack of a better
squeeze.
term,
Yeah,
picking him up and bouncing him up and down like
yeah.
ball. Jenna and Coop get together, and then it shows
there, I guess.
Yeah. Then it shows Reamer and Jenny McCarthy's character Yvette. They just look at each other, and then they just start. Then she just jumps on him, and
yes, and they go full on. It literally the same type of kiss he just did with Coop.
Yeah,
but
they're going to. Yeah,
it's just weird. It's just weird. It's not sexy. It's not passionate. No. It's just weird.
They had a call back to him being able to lactate again.
Yeah, I did like that. It was one of the psych outs during the that 5 to 7 minute period where they go against any other team and win because they're really good at psych outs.
Which, just so you know, overall, do you know how many psych outs were actually shown during the film that were successful?
10, I guess. Quite a lot.
25.
25. I mean, the bit with this and the hand and the clipping was like
actually what he's humming. That's an AMA, which is like an American Movie Theater Association's thing of like, let's go to the lobby, like let's all go to get ourselves a snack. That was played during the intermission of movies back then.
It's a total US thing.
Yeah.
Because for us, it was literally that there's no, it literally disturbed you in the middle as if somebody, you know, where in some movies, the like film gets cut or just ends.
Yeah.
And you see that, and then you have intermission, sort of like a Monty Python thing.
Yeah.
That's how we had it.
Gotcha. Well,
and there was no warning to when it's going to restart. There was no like, okay, you've got 5 minutes. No, it's like intermission, go, but we're gonna start as soon as we're ready. Basically that.
Yeah.
Basically that for a very, very, very long time. By the way,
gotcha.
Up to further into the 2000s. It's don't ask. But yeah, and that kind of concludes the movie. It kind of ends there. I mean, there's no much to it. Like we've covered it. Let's do a little bit of a sum up because we kind of filled basically everything. We didn't touch upon every single scene, but you know, the movie itself really short, an hour. It's like 87 minutes. Like if you cut away all the unnecessary stuff, it's about 87 minutes.
I would say so. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's literally marked for me as 1 hour 42, but it's not an hour 42. It's literally less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
With like meaningful things, I would say.
Yeah.
Cut away the start, cut away the universal bits, all that stuff. Cut away all the stupid stuff. Literally is 87 minutes, maybe even 90 minutes. Condensed. I like condensed stories. You can skip on a lot of like long bits and do straight into the action, especially in comedy especially in that type of comedy, and not overly develop a few things like the Coop and the girl thing were not super developed.
No, not really. Need to be. Most of the story was really underdeveloped. The main story, like they could have cut out most of the Jenna stuff. The only important bit that served was the impetus behind the dissension between Coop and Reamer. And Reamer's character change. That was the only purpose that it served. Beyond that, there was no real reason to have that story in there whatsoever.
Yeah.
The Joey bits, granted, some of the lines that they wrote for him were funny. But other than that,
the Squeak stuff, you could tell it's literally getting their best friend some lines in the movie where he can shine a little bit. And like whatever, like the guy who plays Squeak or Kevin or whatever,
Diam Bashar,
yeah, he is literally doing kind of the same type of role as in Orgasmo.
I know. I don't think so. Because Ben was actually somewhat. Ben was confident.
Yeah,
Kevin,
you know what,
Squeak
that's right.
Squeak is very mild mannered and very timid. Ben is intelligent and capable.
You're right. I'm talking about on my ass. But to me, it seems like
now, if you were to compare this character with the character that he plays in Cannibal, then we could talk.
Okay.
Because yes, Diam Bashar is in Cannibal.
Overall, it seems to me that they literally brought their friend, as you told me, they literally were bringing their friend to do another movie.
They wrote the entire role for him specifically.
And you can tell which is more of a Matt Stone, Trey Parker stuff and which is the David Zucker stuff, like we said throughout the movie. The acting, Yasmine Bleeth, God help us. Jenny McCarthy, I'm not going to blame her. She does Jenny McCarthy stuff as she did for the
perfectly servable, like
duration of her her acting career, I would say, where she literally leans on the bimbo part of her persona, I would say, or whatever she projects as her persona. As opposed to Orgasmo, Matt Stone had a lot more meat on the bones.
Yeah.
Because he was not playing the creepy dude who ever so often puts in the one or two lines and kind of makes a jokey joke and we move on with the story. Here he was a genuine part of the dynamic between Coop and Reamer, where the whole movie is Coop and Reamer's storyline and adjacent storylines around. A lot of tropes where you lean on the Babe Ruth stuff on this one, where they can take, because it's baseball and basketball, they can lean on both things. They kind of involve all that stuff, but overall, yes, watch it for the first time. Yes, jokey, haha stuff.
That's about it. Yeah.
A few PC jokes. For me, it flies. For other people, doesn't fly. And that is about it. Enjoyable twice in a row, I would say no. Joking about it and having fun on it on a podcast, fuck yeah. Other than that, if you still haven't watched this movie, get a DVD for $2, I guess.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can get it.
I think it's worth $2, and it's worth the hour and 44 minutes that you will spend watching the whole thing from opening to ending credits. But watch it once, then forget about it, because
yeah. Is it worth the $2? I would say probably yes.
Yeah,
but just once, and then just lend that DVD to somebody who hasn't watched the movie. Just again, one of those movies that we covered we thought it would be nice, but turned out maybe I don't like this movie so much.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. That's why we have this show. All right, cool. Let's wrap things up. Before we leave, we have a taste of this movie, a segment that we call the short version of Baseketball.
Okay, here we go. The short version.
I'm going to become a big sports star, too.
What are you guys doing in my mom's room?
I hear your mom's going out with Squeak.
Ow! Oh, yes!
Your place is a shithole anyway.
3 words for you. National Basketball League.
You got this. If Coop can make this one.
Of course, my beloved beers, I bequeath controlling interest to Joseph R. Cooper.
For it? Dude, I'm in. All or nothing.
What's the one thing that you want more than anything else in the world?
Chelsea Clinton?
You'd have a better shot at Bill.
You see, Joey? Dreams really do come true. What's the matter with Coop tonight?
I don't know, but he's 1 for 11 and he smells like Christian Slater.
happy dance? Doing the happy dance?
Driving an American car and sharing a small house with two other guys. You know what that says to me?
Homos?
Yes, it was his fault. Me? This is your mess, Reamer. I should have kept the team to myself. Dude, I just don't know you anymore.
Staring into his eyes over our morning coffee. Yes. Yes, thank you.
Dude.
I'm the king of the world!
I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah. There was the only other really great psych out was at the very beginning where it was like, oh God, it's one of Brittany's mom's pubes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for this week. So next week, the last week of August, as everybody's gearing up to go back to school, if you are of age or a parent of kids of age, we are going to finish our Trey Parker and Matt Stone with a fantastic film. I think better than the other two we covered because we couldn't cover
don't
all
think
four.
so, but that's Orgasmo.
You don't think so?
Orgasmo holds a very special place in my heart. So
we might have a couple of guests.
Yeah,
I need to make sure one of them is supposed to be. And you know what? We'll leave it as a thing. So go watch Team America World Police. You will definitely have loads of notes on that one because that movie has a lot of
Matt Damon. I don't know why they picked on me.
Anyway, Team America World Police is what we cover next week. Go watch it. I'm not gonna say where it is because you said you had troubles getting.
I had trouble finding the unrated version, which is the version
unrated version. Okay. So we have an unrated version, which I have, and you have now, and you probably watched it already. So go watch it. In the meantime, if you want to interact with our show, at me on Twitter, my DMs are open, as well as Instagram. I check that every few days. Now, nothing yet. You can always email the show at the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com. Please, if you're still here, our guest is Tom Connors from the at Midnight's Edge. The link is in the description. You just click on it and it goes into that main channel, or follow him on Twitter, or go to here, subscribe to Midnight's Edge or Midnight's Edge After Dark, where it's more of Tom stuff, less of Andre stuff. And of course, I personally recommend on Midnight's Edge Radio, where just check it out. It's wonderful. It's absolutely great. And then until next week, from me and from the guy who, yes, I'm giving it away, have a hankering for a pee right now before he bursts, Mr. Oh My Feelings, from me and him, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.